Okay, so now find the other worksheet we're going to be doing, SOL 710B, practice problems. You're also going to need your ruler for this one too. And I will be doing a couple of these with you, and I'm going to leave you to do the rest. All right, so we're going to graph a line given the following information where we can understand that there is a proportional relationship. Remember when we did proportions? And I'll show you that as we go, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the ordered pair because we have to place a point on the graph. Now I know this graph is really small and hard to see, but we're just going to do the best that we can. All right, so we're going to start with the ordered pair of 3, 1. So when we're plotting points, we always go across. We have to go in the elevator before we can go up or down. So we're going to plot the point at 3, where there's 3, and we're going up to 1. So that's our starting point right there, okay? So now we're going to find the slope of 1/3. So remember, rise over run. Rise over run. Okay? So we are going to go up 1 and over 3. 1, 2, 3. And plot our point. Up 1 and over 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to get our ruler. And we're going to draw our line through those points. And since the graph is really small, it makes it a little bit harder. But you can see, whoopsie, that the line goes through each point. Okay? So I'm going to leave you to do number 2, number 3. All right? And number 4 is a little bit different because, and I'll do this one with you, and you should be doing along with me, because when we look at the ordered pair 6, 10, we go across to 6, and then up to 10, it's right there. Well, we can't go across to 6 and up to 10 anymore because there's no more graph. So this is where we can actually create a table. Okay, so if this is X and this is Y. All right, so let's just put 6 down here. So we'll say 6 is X. Well, it is X and 10. Okay, so, and the slope is 5 to 3. Now remember that the slope, remember Y, remember the equation? Y equals M times X, right? So if the slope is 5/3, that means Y equals 5/3 times whatever X is. And in this case, it's 6. Well, how do you multiply 5/3 times 6? Well, you go back to 6th grade math. 5/3 times 6. And remember, any whole number can be represented as a fraction by putting it over 1. And when we multiply fractions, we go straight across. So 5 times 6 is 30. And 3 times 1 is 3, which is reduced to 10, which is exactly what we have here for Y. All right, so we're going to take this a little step further. Okay. All right, so we're going to still look at our formula, but let's say we want to say that X is 1. Okay, so if X is 1, 5/3 times 5/3 times 1 is still 5/3, and we can reduce that. Okay, So 5/3 equals, okay, 3 will go into 5 one whole time, okay, because 3 times 1 is 3. All right, 3 is our denominator. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. So it's actually 1 2/3. But I guess they did the 6 and the 10 because it's a whole number. What if we wanted x to be 2? So we would multiply, remember, y. So this right here equals the slope, which is 5/3. Let me erase this. Okay, so that would be 5/3 times 2. Remember, a whole number can always be shown as a fraction by putting it over 1. Then we multiply straight across and we have 10/3, which is equal to 3 goes into 10 3 times. 3 is our denominator, 3 1/3. So in this case, if this is 3 1/3, okay, we would go up, we would rise 2 and go over 3 1/3, which we're not going to do that. But we can also, and that's there, this is our proportion, because we're multiplying the same thing. So remember when we did proportions, all right, come over here and look. So if we had, I don't want to do it with this one. I'm not going to do it with this one because it's got the fraction. But, all right. Now, we can actually go backwards with this one. So if we want to remain and keep with our slope, instead of going up 5 and over 3, we can just go this way, go the opposite way. We'll go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of going to the right 3, we can go to the left. 1, 2, 3. And in this case, it's on the 3 and the 5. So let's look at it. Let's check it. So if x is 3, so 5/3 times 3, that equals 15/3, which equals 5. So what did we do? We went across to 3 and up to 5. Did I just confuse you? I hope not. You're not going to see too many like that. Let's go ahead and draw your line through your points. All right, so I am leaving you to do number 2 and number 3. And I would love to see you guys, whoopsie, try to figure out if there's only one point on the line. Make yourself a table. This one you're not going to because that's kind of small. But make yourself a table like this with X and Y. And always make sure you find the 1. And then make at least one more point. All right, now the back is a little bit different. So flip over to the back, and then you can come back and do numbers 2 and 3. All right, so on the back, it's a little bit different. Now, I already created tables for these 5, 6, and 7, and 8, okay? So I want you to create a table. So pause this video real quick and make the table. And then we're always going to put X. We're going to always make sure X is at least 1. So when we make X 1, we're multiplying 5 times X. And what is X? Well, X is 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. What if X was 2? And we can make it anything we want, really. So if X was 2, 5 times 2 is 10. If X was 3, what would it be? What would it be if it was 4? So you can go ahead and finish that table on your own, and then you're going to come over and plot the points. And remember, okay, so we have the XY, okay, and our slope, remember the slope, remember the slope is Y equals mx times x, well, the 5, the number next to the x, is our slope. So 5 is our slope, which is 5 over 1. And that's our slope. So we would go up 5 and across to 1. So here, all right, so we're going to go up 5 and across. Oh, why is this mouse not working? And plot our point. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and across to 1. Now notice, see how this is on the 10, and it's also on the, what is that? 2. Well, look over here. It worked out perfectly. So slope can be found in both a table and a graph. All right, so go ahead and finish these, and I want you to go ahead and plot those points. All right, so when we come down here, it's a little bit different because here we have fractions, and you have to multiply your fractions. Well, remember, we know that x is 1, so that would be 5 halves times 1, and remember 1 over 1, which equals 5 halves. And that can actually be reduced to 2.5. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. All right, if x is 2, we're going to multiply 5 halves because that's our slope. And we're multiplying that times x, which is 2. Remember, it's over 1. So remember, when we multiply, all we do is multiply our numerators together and our denominators together. So 5 times 2 is 10, and 2 times 1 is 2, and that can be reduced to 5. So I want you to take a look at this. Hopefully you wrote it down so you can see what it was that I did, so you can go ahead and try it yourself. And then you're going to come over here and plot the points. So if the slope, now remember, the slope is this, okay? 5 halves. Or it's actually 2.5 also, okay? Because it's reduced. But we'll go ahead and use 5 halves. No. Yeah. No, scratch that. We're not using 5 halves. We're going to use 2.5, but we're going to change it to 2.5. All right, because a half means 0.5, and then remember it has to go over 1. So then we're going to come across to 1 and up to 2.5, which is right there, about right there. It's kind of hard because the graph's so small. All right, and then here you're going to go across to 2 and up to 5. Or you could have gone up, or we could have used our slope to do it also and go up 2.5 and across 1. Go up 2.5 and across, wait, there's 1, 2.5 and across 1, which would be right there. And if you notice it, look, on this line it's 3 and 15. I mean 10. Wait, what is it? Oh, no, not 10. Good golly molly. Ugh. All right, this is 5. So that would be 3 times 5 halves, which is equal to 15 halves, which is also equal to 2 times what is 15, or close to it, is 7. So that would be 7.5. And there we go. There's our 7.5 right there. Okay? All right. I'm around here if you have any questions. Hopefully you wrote all that down. All right. I'm going to leave you to do number 7. And then number 8 is very similar to number 6. So if you have to go back and watch the video and jot what I did down, remember y equals m times x. All right, so you're going to stop the video and you're going to finish this worksheet.